Hey everyone. In this video, I want to talk to you about how it's actually a good thing if you've been single for a while or even most of your life. I see a lot of people on social media who fall into this category say that they absolutely hate it and that they wish they would have had a lot of relationships and so on and so forth. But if you've been single for a while or even most of your life, I think that actually gives you a big advantage, and I'll jump right into it. The first thing is that being single for a while or most of your life helps you avoid a lot of pain and trauma that comes from being in the bad or wrong relationships. If you haven't had a lot of relationships, or if you've been single for a long period of time, you've been able to avoid this because people who jump from relationship to relationship just to avoid being single because they're insecure about being single, those people are pretty much going to end up with a lot of pain and trauma because the odds of them finding good partners when they're just jumping from person to person are really low. So inevitably, they're going to end up with a lot of bad partners in there, a lot of average or low quality people who are going to end up hurting them. And the ways people can get hurt are just infinite. So if you actually have been single for most of your life, you've avoided so much of that pain. I mean, people get cheated on, people get physically abused, they get emotionally abused, they get so many things can be done to you in a relationship if you choose a really horrible partner just to avoid being single. So you've managed to avoid that, and that is awesome. That gives you a great advantage in life. That means you haven't been really messed up or hurt by other people, so you're in a good place. But another really important thing here is you've avoided having your personality negatively affected by a bad partner or bad partners. This one, to me, is bigger than having gone through pain or trauma, because pain or trauma you can get over with time. But if you have a partner who negatively affected your personality, that takes a lot more work to get over, because quite often people won't even realize that their partner has negatively affected them. They won't know that they need to work on their personality because they allowed this partner to give them all sorts of insecurities and other issues. I mean, the more or the longer you stay single or the longer you've been single, it's allowed you to avoid so many insecurities that you would have obtained from dating the wrong people. Trust issues and things like that. And just, yeah, when people get cheated on, they end up with so many problems. And when physically abused, that don't even get me started on that. And emotionally abusive partners are some of the worst people on the planet. That's just, yeah, there's so many ways where your personality can get negatively affected by choosing the wrong partners. So if you've actually stayed single for a long period of time or most of your life, you've avoided that. And that is awesome. I mean, I can't tell you how rare it is to find a 30-year-old who doesn't have some form of relationship issues that they need to work on because of previous partners that they've dated or gotten into long-term relationships with. But it's just such a rare thing. So if you're actually in the boat where you haven't had many relationships, that is a great place to be. I mean, I remember one time I actually knew a dating coach back in like 8 years ago, probably at this point, and he was telling me that most men by the age of like even 21 don't trust women. That's insane to believe. That is crazy. And I'm sure it goes both ways. I'm sure women are in the same boat where they don't trust men by a certain age, maybe even more so than men wouldn't trust women. So it's really rare to be in that boat where you don't have those trust issues because you haven't had a lot of bad partners. You haven't had the life experience of dealing with the kind of people that would make you develop those insecurities. So to sum it up, if you haven't had a lot of relationships, you're a clean slate. That is a great place to be. I mean, come on, like that is so awesome, especially if you're older, because that means you've avoided all of the aforementioned things. Like being a clean slate is so rare. So many people are broken in some way because of previous partners. That's why I always urge people to stay single for as long as possible, to become comfortable being single. Because if you choose to get into a relationship with just anyone just to avoid being single because you don't like being single, that is so stupid because your odds of you finding someone who isn't good for you are pretty high because you're not going to be actually paying attention to red flags, and you're not going to be highly vetting the people you date to make sure they're actually good partners. So when you're in a place where you're comfortable being single, that is awesome, especially if you're in that clean slate area. So if you do fall into this category, you're in a great position to create healthy relationships. And I'll actually give you some tips for that because, I mean, seriously, you're in an awesome place. So what you would want to focus on to create healthy relationships from here, because you have an advantage over everyone else who has had previous issues from previous relationships, start focusing on self-love and knowing your worth and enjoying your own company. Those three things will help set you up for having awesome relationships going forward. Self-love, that's all about treating yourself like you would someone you deeply care about, someone you love, like a best friend or even a family member. You really want to be kind to yourself and support yourself and cheer for yourself, that sort of thing. The more you do that, you're basically providing love for yourself. That's why it's called self-love. And the power in that is that you're not going to be looking to external sources of love. You're not going to be trying to find a partner to love you, because you won't have a void within you that other people who are looking for love feel like they have. You're going to fill that void with your own love. That's powerful because that means you're not going to need to rely on other people to supply that. And knowing your worth is huge because this allows you to be very picky with your partners. You're going to know what you deserve because you're going to know what you bring to the table. So you're not going to settle for just anyone who comes along, because most people are low quality. I hate to say it, but it's true. We all know it. So knowing your worth will help you find people who are worthy of you. And the way to figure out your worth is to just get to know yourself as much as possible. What I like to do in the past was meditate on the question, who am I? And just be as honest as possible. List your personality traits. What makes you the person that you are? Who are you? Are you confident? Are you calm? Are you mentally tough? Or are you whatever it may be? Just go list all your personality traits, and that will help you get to know yourself. Just do it as often as possible. You could even journal it down if you please. And then the last thing, enjoying your own company. That's all about doing things that you enjoy on your own. Literally getting to a place where you feel comfortable doing things that make you happy, even if you're going to do them alone. Whether that be going outside on walks or hikes, or going to the beach, or if you live near a beach, should I say, I'm spoiled living in LA, or going to the movies by yourself, or going to a restaurant by yourself. Just there are so many things we can do on our own, and the only reason people won't do things on their own more often is because they're insecure about being judged when they're outside by themselves. But nobody's going to judge you, and even if for the rare few who will judge you, who gives a crap? They're going to be unhappy judging other people while you're going to be enjoying yourself doing things that make you happy. So don't even worry about that. But anyway, those three things, self-love, knowing your worth, and enjoying your own company, will really give you an advantage in creating healthy relationships, since you're already starting from a great place. So I hope this video has shown you how, if you've been single for a long time or even most of your life, that gives you a great advantage in life. Do not feel sorry for yourself or think that that's a bad thing. It is, oh my God, you've avoided so many issues, and it is awesome. It's a great place to be, so never beat yourself up over that. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci.